What's going on, bro? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 259. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, we are post the big Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. Obviously, last week on Wednesday, we did kind of a mini podcast just to kind of collect our thoughts. And then obviously the big tariff stuff happened after, the next day. So it's
all the
just
treehouse stuff.
The treehouse stuff. It's just been it's been a whirlwind of news. It was honestly like Wednesday, Thursday. It was hard to keep up with everything. Like it was, I'm not in like journalism or anything like that, but it was overwhelming just to try to get all the information. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, with how much was kind of left on the table after the direct, I understand why it was so hard to track down this correct information.
Yeah.
And Nintendo didn't make it easy. And if you were to ask me last Monday if I would have thought that we'd be speaking negatively about Nintendo, the day of the direct, the week after the direct, I'd say no, because I was so excited for the Switch 2, excited for the reveal. Yeah. And I still am very excited to get my hands on the Switch 2, excited for Mario Kart, excited for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong
whatever else
fantastic.
Zelda upgraded. I mean, yeah, all the games look great, but there's just this slew of negativity around the pricing, the misinformation, the lack of transparency from Nintendo, and it's making it hard to stay excited.
Yeah, we'll dive into it in a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely all on Nintendo. I mean, the fact that we got through the entire thing and they never revealed a price or anything like that kind of shows a lot. This I'm not gonna say this is as bad as the Wii U era, but it feels very similar to the Wii U era of how just very confused after I had more questions than I had answers. With how the Switch upgrade works for Switch to Switch 2, the pricing, all that stuff, just very, very confused. And then it didn't help that so many outlets and so many journalists were throwing all this information at us, and majority of it was wrong. And then, so yeah, it's been a little bit frustrating, but
I think with the Wii U, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, I just feel when we started the Switch generation, I feel like they nailed that presentation. They nailed what the Switch does, and obviously, we know what the Switch 2 is. It's more or less the same as the original Switch, but
yeah,
there's just a lot of confusing things like the upgrade paths and stuff like that. So they just did not do a great job with that. But go ahead, and then we'll dive into what we've been playing, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think with the Wii U, half of it is the confusion, right? Because I mean, we watched that initial E3 and we're is it a new console? Is it just a peripheral device for the Wii? I think the other half of it was a lack of interest for Nintendo at the time, because the Wii had overstayed its welcome. It had gone on too long. And by the time that people knew that the Wii U was out, they didn't really care. There wasn't a compelling, high value software that was driving interest like there was with the Switch with Breath of the Wild, and like there is now with Mario Kart. So
I think, I didn't care, but I kind of I kind of started out with Nintendo, and then I feel like you kind of took over the reins for the household for Nintendo, because you were super into the DS and stuff.
I was handheld,
the Wii, and then you ended up getting the Wii U. I ended up getting the Wii U later on, but so yeah, I was kind of I dabbled with Nintendo. I played all the Zelda games and stuff like that, but I wasn't as deep as you were. But so yeah, I skipped on the Wii. But yeah, it's
a different problem. It's confusion, but the interest is there. But how far does that interest go? How high of a price does that interest go to?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the question. And
yeah, that's the $1 million question right now. Is
how far is it going to go?
Happen? Yeah, what's going to happen with the price?
Yeah, and it's all dependent on what happens with the tariffs, and it doesn't sound like there's a lot of negotiating room from what I've been reading. So yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. I mean, this is beyond just Switch 2. This is gaming in general. If the tariffs stick, I mean, PlayStations are going to go up. Xboxes are going to go up because components that they get overseas are going to cost way more.
In general, like video games are like the
Game Pass, I guarantee,
bottom of the totem.
Are going to go up. It's going to be across the board, and it sucks because I was not. I'm not gonna say I was in a bad place last week, like on Thursday and Friday, but like that was the first time in a very long time where I'm like, I'm gonna have to like maybe miss out a portion of like this next generation because like I'm just not gonna pay more than $500 for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
I mean, can I afford it? Sure. Do I want to pay for something that's not supposed to be this much? Yeah, I'm gonna skip if that's the case. But
yeah,
I just wasn't in a great mood after reading all that. And we were supposed to be extremely excited, and the games. I mean, the games looked incredible.
The Treehouse presentations were great. All the games looked awesome. Obviously the chat, the YouTube chat was.
I watched Nintendo Prime did a live stream of reacting to it. I just watched his because I started watching the Nintendo one, and it was just like, yeah, just drop the price. And I'm not going to say I wasn't in a disagreement with them because I mean, $80 is a lot of money to ask, but we'll dive into it here in a second. But Nick, before we dive, there's a lot of stuff we had to go over, but before we do so, Nick, how was your week? Other than
week was great. Stuff? Yeah. Nintendo stuff was cool. Traveled to Charlotte this weekend for a friend's birthday, so we went to a brewery, and there ended up being like a Renaissance fair there. So there were like people jousting, and like everyone was dressed up except for us because we didn't know it was Renaissance fair. Yeah, but there was like such a wide range of costumes there, and it was really cool to see. But yeah, had a ton of fun. Just kind of a day trip, one night. And then we came home the next day and just chilled. So it was a good weekend. It's a fun time.
Sweet.
How about you?
Yeah, it was good. Cut the grass this week. Finally, that was like the first time I've cut the grass since it's been nice. Definitely missed that. Just been enjoying the warm weather. It's been super nice to do that. We didn't really do much this weekend. Just kind of hung out, cooked, made some food on the grill and stuff like that. So nothing crazy, but it was good. Nick, let's talk some more Xenoblade. Have you finished it yet?
No, I'm pretty close. I'm like 48 hours in, and I'm about to go into chapter 12. I need to level up a little bit more before I'm like at the recommended level. So I'm gonna do some more side quests. Admittingly, I didn't play a lot this week just because I was like watching a lot of Nintendo stuff, and I don't know about you, but like when you're like really ingrained in like a new console launch or like anything that like you're really looking forward to, it's hard to focus on games that you're currently enjoying.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's like I'm playing Xenoblade X and I'm like, this is probably gonna get a Switch 2 version, and it's gonna.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, like I really like this game, but do I wait? Not that. I mean, this game runs pretty good,
Yeah, it's pretty consistent, 30 frames. But still, it's like that creeping feeling in the back of your mind of, how long is it going to be before this gets either a paid upgrade or just like one of the free upgrades for the Switch 2. So
I bet for Xenoblade, if they do it, it'll be free. I don't see them charging for it.
Yeah, they might do like a free upgrade for owners of the game, and then offer like a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 plus future redeems package that's like a Nintendo Switch 2 version, and then maybe do like some sort of version for Xenoblade Chronicles X. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it was free.
Yeah, so I played a little bit. I haven't really progressed the story much. I've just been kind of just running around, like doing side quests and stuff. It's fun, man.
Yeah,
just a lot of fun.
I see Zelda's on here.
I did, and I finished it yesterday. I beat it.
No way.
Yeah, I was really in the mood, like just to play some Zelda, and I was like, you know what? Let me just dive back in and see where I'm at, and kind of go from there. And I did. I had one temple left. I had the what's the swamp area in Zelda? With the Deku people.
Yeah.
I had that one left, and then obviously like the last like I wouldn't really call it a temple or
a mini
dungeon.
dungeon.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I did that one, and then I had still a decent amount of the map that was still covered with the clouds. So I went around and just explored and closed all the rifts.
Did you fight the Lionel?
I didn't. I need to go back and do that because in the final boss fight it summons a Lionel that I'm like,
Yeah.
is this in the game? So
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at because I've uncovered the entire map now.
It's in the it's like the Lost Woods area. I think there's a side quest that's dedicated to it.
Okay.
Or some sort of like some sort of side thing that you have to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that out for sure. But yeah, man, this game, I don't know why I put it down for a while, but this game's really good, man. I like it a lot. I mean, once you get like, it is like the menu system is annoying.
It sucks.
Like selecting it, it's not great. Luckily, like towards the end, I was just really using the tab where it's like the last used. So I was just using like the last 4 or 5.
Yeah,
something like that. I guess some of my favorite echoes, the water echo, where you can like stack up the water. That one's awesome. Let's see what I think I used like the shield and sword moblin, like the big one. I think he's like level 3 or whatever. I use that one a lot. I use the fire wizrobe a lot. That one was pretty clutch. Obviously, like just the regular, like the first bed you get is like I probably use that the most.
Unbeatable.
Like, yeah. There were so many like puzzles you come across, and they want you. I could tell that they want you to do something different or experimental, and I'm just like
bed,
I'm gonna line up like,
bed.
And once you get I can't remember the little character's name, but once you get like 8 or 9 of a little triangle, so you can just like have, I mean, you could stack up like 8 or 9 beds. It's hilarious.
Yeah. This is getting a free performance patch on the Switch too, right?
It is. Yeah.
Okay,
one of the free upgrades, which we don't know what that entails, right? It just says free upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like, does this run at 30 or is it 60 frames?
It's 30, but it's not locked. It definitely dips.
Oh, right. Isn't it like, is it 60 inside of dungeons and then 30 in the overworld?
That could be the case. Because it does run really smooth. But you'll get the occasional like hiccup and it'll dip a bit. But yeah, man, this guy, I don't know if I need another one of these games. Unless they figure out a way to clean up the echo screen, the echo menu. But it's really good. I think it's a great recommend if you're a Zelda fan and just want something a little bit different. It's really good. Yeah, and the last boss fight is pretty epic. Like it's like a I don't know, like a 5 or 6 phase boss fight. It's really cool.
I'm trying to remember it. I think I was using the Lionel, so I was able to take it out pretty quick. Let me look it up because I can't remember what that final boss was.
But it's like null. But it's kind of like it's like a giant eyeball, and it's got multiple hands and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. But yeah, fun game.
Oh yeah.
And I thought about like, you know, when I saw that it was getting the free upgrade, I was like, maybe I'll just wait. But then I was like, no, because I'm gonna want to go back to Breath of the Wild, and like I've got to see Tears of the Kingdom in 4K, man. Like, man, that game, the treehouse stuff just it sold me on it because I was like, do I really need to go back and play Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild? But then once I saw the difference, I was like, man, this is what the game. This is how it's supposed to be played. You could tell after watching those videos that this Tears of the Kingdom was meant to run on like the Switch Pro that just never came out.
I know, it's kind of a shame.
Yeah,
because that not that it changed my experience playing it at 30 frames, but it would have made it better, I think. And it was still like a 10 out of 10 experience, but it would have just elevated it that much more. Yeah. Which game would you go back to first between
probably Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. I think I just want to play through like the first like the opening plateau.
Yeah.
The first plateau again. Great Plateau, yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe I would like transfer my Tears of the Kingdom save and just screw around more in that game. I don't know if I would do another like full playthrough of either one of those games.
I'm considering doing Breath of the Wild just because it's been so long since I've played that game, and I never actually played the DLC either. And which we don't know if the DLC is on this, right?
But Nintendo Prime is on it, right?
He's on it. I think he's trying to figure that out for us.
Okay, good.
Doing the Lord. So yeah. Just, but anyways, yeah. So yeah, Zelda's been it was a lot of fun. I'll probably go back and do the Lionel stuff, and I'm probably not going to 100% or anything like that, but it's really good.
You played the Link's Awakening remake,
yeah?
Right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get back to that one too and check it out after it gets the Switch 2 upgrade. I don't know if these are going to be like day one patches or if it's
I'm not sure
phased thing. But the one game I'm most interested in is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I want to see if those have like substantial improvements or if it's just smoothing out the frame rate.
I don't see them like cleaning up all the crazy glitches and stuff like that, but they'll probably at least have like a consistent frame rate.
Okay. Yeah, you own it, so if you
I own it, and like when I played it, it didn't seem like it was that bad, but I also didn't unlock I think I had just unlocked the like the motorcycle Pokemon, whatever it's called. I mean, I probably put 4 to 5 hours into it, I think.
Okay.
I need to go back. I need to go back and play it and just see how it actually runs, great, and then compare it.
Yeah, I heard the gameplay is great, but just the world looks so ass that it's hard to justify.
Yeah, it's not good. The Switch has not been kind to it. Well,
Pokemon's not been kind.
Yeah, to the Switch. Because we know games can run on the Switch. I mean, I would be very curious to see if like I don't know, like Monolith Soft or something, like give them a crack at like a spin-off Pokemon game and see what they could do with it.
I mean, considering Legends ZA is kind of using the Xenoblade combat system, like the Xenoblade 3 combat system, I would love to see Monolith Soft kind of do that.
Yeah.
But with their style. I mean,
just give anybody else a crack at Pokemon other than
honestly, yeah. Give it to anyone else.
I don't know. All right, well let's dive into the news, and if you don't like Switch or you don't like Nintendo, well, maybe
it's gonna be a bad episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad episode for you. But Nick, kick us off.
All right, so I'm sure everybody knows about this at this point, but last Friday, and this was in the middle of the Treehouse that was going on, and it wasn't announced by anyone at the Treehouse. It was just a press release that went out to retailers. Nintendo is delaying U.S. pre-orders for the Switch 2. It was originally going to take place on Wednesday, April 9th, and now it's delayed indefinitely. And this is due to tariffs placed on Vietnam, placed on China, where the Switch 2 is manufactured.
Yeah.
And
which Nintendo tried to get ahead of the tariffs and moved their production to Vietnam, where it wasn't expected to have a increase in tariffs, and it ended up being like the highest one.
Yeah, it's like 46%.
Yeah,
which is,
man.
I mean, I think that's beyond anything they could have even planned for.
Well, that was more than I think what even Trump had initially stated for most territories, and then it just like, man,
comes out of nowhere. The launch date of the Switch 2 in the US is still June 5th, and we do know as of today that they have Switch 2s manufactured and they've already been shipped to the US. So they already have stock in the US. How much, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have hopefully enough to handle the launch demand, however much that is. Probably not. I mean,
I mean,
Maybe
I
depending
hope
on the
they have like
price.
million. I mean, best case scenario is they open up the pre-orders. Hopefully they have a few million here in the U.S. and then it just sells out, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna have to wait on shipping anything else," and then hopefully. Because I mean, with the tariffs, it's not a definite thing, right? It's trying to do negotiations across the world to. I don't know. I'm not a big economist or anything like that, so I don't always know what I'm talking about with this stuff. But they're put into place so that the rates for us, they're trying to. Is that how it works? Basically, they're trying to.
Wait, what are you
That's why they're
saying?
doing it. I'm saying with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
tariffs,
yeah.
like the
Yeah,
the
they're
end
basically
game
squeezing
is
countries
to
for.
bring it down for the rest of the world that the United States is dealing with, right?
Yeah, and it's really to get manufacturing to come into the U.S.
Yeah,
That's like the overarching goal, even though it doesn't make sense for everything, especially when other countries can do things better, and you don't have to use your resources to manufacture things. But
yeah,
that's another argument.
yeah,
Yeah, so they have all these tariffs slapped on them, both Vietnam and China. I think Switch 2 it's manufactured in both places, heavier in Vietnam, but they also I think do some manufacturing in China. So
yeah,
this is unprecedented. I mean, Doug Bowser came out today or yesterday, or he did a couple of interviews, and um, reporters were asking him about the initial price of $450 and asking if that was taking into account any a preliminary idea of what the tariffs are, or what they were going to be. And he said, no, that was just our price. Like, now we have to, reconsider things now that, these tariffs have been placed on China and Vietnam. So all that being said, Switch 2, at least in the US, could increase in price.
yeah.
I would say it could increase at least by $100 in the US if,
Yeah.
things stay the way they are currently.
I don't know, because I mean, obviously, I mean, Nintendo doesn't want to charge, an extra $100 because they're not going to sell as many units. I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. I mean, most people look at Nintendo as the more, although their games never go down in price or on sale really, but they generally are looked at as like the affordable gaming company, right? Like their consoles are always usually way cheaper for the most part. So yeah, Nintendo doesn't want to charge that much. I don't know. I have a feeling that this is going to get delayed in the US.
The launch is going to get delayed.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That's their biggest territory, though.
It is.
I mean, that in Japan, and they're obviously not going to have any issues in Japan. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if they could. I mean, how long do you think they would delay it for? Delay it for a month, delay it for 2 months. I mean, is that fixing anything? Is it just putting a Band-Aid on, an overarching problem that's not going to be solved within a period of a few months?
Yeah.
Could delay it to holiday time frame, have more stock on hand.
Yeah, I mean, that may be what they do, is just delay it until holiday this year. I don't think they delay it into 2026. Because I mean, you can't just sit on stock if it's already here. Or maybe they just sell out here and then that's it. Like, that's what we're gonna get for a long time. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it could get delayed until winter, or like I said, they can just sell out what they have in the United States, and then hopefully this stuff, corrects itself, and then we'll get back to kind of normal. But I mean, who knows?
Or maybe we get to a point, and I know initially they said that the Mario Kart World Switch 2 bundle is of limited supply, and that'll eventually run out. Maybe that's the only thing they're doing in the US is that bundle, and having that $500 version,
which I would be fine with, because that's the one I think you and I are both going to opt in anyways, because you save you save, $30.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the worst case scenario is it gets delayed.
Gets delayed and the price increases.
Yeah, and the price increases.
Mhm.
God, yeah, it just sucks, man, because like we've been waiting for Switch 2 for so long, and it was just like the worst week for Nintendo to reveal it, and
Yeah. It makes you think, like, I wonder what stopped them from releasing it last year. Like whether there were manufacturing issues or they were still working on the hardware itself. They were still working on games, launch year games. But I bet they're kicking themselves for not
yeah,
getting this thing out
because
last
it's
year.
not like, I mean, and I'm sure like Mario could have used the polish and the Mario Kart. It's not like they're launching with like a new Mario game or a new Zelda or something like that. Like it's kind of a weak launch, in my opinion. A lot of it is okay. Yes, we've got Mario Kart, which is obviously going to sell. I mean, it's probably going to be the best selling game on the Switch too. When everything's said and done, but a lot of kind of like what Nintendo is relying on is these upgrades, and we'll talk about that here in a second.
And third party.
Yeah, and third party, of course. But as far as like, I don't know, and it's not a bad launch lineup, but when you compare it to the Switches and Zelda, it's hard to beat Zelda, right? It just is.
In terms of having that one killer game, yeah, but
I
Switch
think
1 didn't have a
think
great
Mario
launch
Kart.
lineup outside of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's just true.
I mean, I bought a lot of stuff. I bought 1-2
Yeah.
Switch and Snake Pass and Mr.
Oh yeah,
Shifty and Shovel
Yep.
Knight, like all those games, but nothing compared to the Cyberpunks or the Civ 7s,
Yeah,
like
maybe
those
I'm.
types of games.
Yeah, maybe I was doing it. Maybe I missed it.
Honestly, this feels like it almost feels like the PS5 launch or the Xbox Series X launch, where it's very much carried by that third party.
And you have like
And then you
one
have
first party game.
one first party game, and then of course they have like their smaller welcome tour game, and then stuff on the horizon for the following months. But
yeah,
it kind of feels like a current gen launch, which admittedly like wasn't the most exciting thing in the world. Like getting the Series X coming home, and you're like, oh wait, what am I playing? Am I playing?
They didn't even have anything. They didn't have anything
Assassin's
first
Creed?
party. It was Star Wars and Assassin's Creed was what I was playing.
Yeah,
Back in 2020, which the great games. I had a great time, like playing through Star Wars. But that was already like not an old game, but it had been out for like a year or two.
Right.
We first got to experience like the Series X upgrade or whatever.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Yeah, it sucks, man.
I will say this about Mario Kart, because I feel like we're kind of dogging on Mario Kart a little bit.
I think this looks great. Like this is like I said, this is exactly what I wanted from Mario Kart, and this is an absolute day one for me.
Yeah,
Assuming
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I think there's something they're not showing us. I think there's something big, whether it's like a big single player mode, or
you mentioned it. You tweeted something earlier, and I think you're getting ready to you're alluding to it.
I don't want to say it because I don't want to come off as dumb, but when you're selecting your characters for Mario Kart in Mario Kart World, it's showing like the full 3D model of the character outside of their card. Whereas in Mario Kart 8, when you're scrolling between characters, it's just showing them in a cart. So like, what if you can get out of the cart and like, I don't know what you would do. I don't know what would be fun to do in this like big world that's centered around driving around, but maybe you can like get around and play with your friends and jump around and do stuff.
I think because I made a video on it and stuff, like my perfect Mario Kart, and it's almost that. And I think I did mention like being able to maybe get out, but I can't remember if I did or not. But like, what if I mean, this is a pretty big world. Like, what if there is like each player gets to, obviously in their own world, and maybe you can come in and visit somebody else's world. What if you get your own like little town and you can like upgrade it and find I don't know, stuff out in the overworld and getting collectibles, and then you can come back and kind of build up your little your little town or something like that, or a base, or whatever the case is. Like, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, because they only showed like one portion of the map in the treehouse, and I also hope that, similar to the Rock Band 50 song set list, they have some sort of mode where it's like you race across every single track. It's like a world tour race, all 25 tracks.
I bet they will. I bet they will.
Like an hour long race.
And the only, and granted, Doug Bowser came out and said, hey, $80 games were kind of like they did with Tears of the Kingdom, case by case scenario, case by case, whatever. I think they're going to tell us that we're going to get like a significant amount of free DLC for maybe a year or two, and then they'll open it up and they'll bring on the paid DLC. But I think we're going to get a lot of stuff for free, and that's kind of like why it is a little bit more expensive. But so hopefully they'll give us something like that, a bunch of free tracks, or whatever the case is, to kind of justify the $80 price tag. Like that that I could be okay. It's like okay, I'm paying for the season pass up front without knowing it.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, I guess we'll know all of this at the Mario Kart World Direct next week.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason that they have a separate Direct on this game.
Yeah.
I think there's something else they're not showing us. It can't just be what is it?
I think you're right. I think it has something to do with being able to get out of your cart and doing something with that, whether it's major or minor. But I mean, like I said, this is what I wanted from Mario Kart, so I'm super excited to get my hands on it.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how they would have like stopped people from doing that during the hands-on sessions.
Yeah,
like when they had.
Well, it's probably like you can only get out at like your base, or something like that, and they lock it there. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, if you had that, I'd be like, okay, the $80, it's starting to make more sense.
Yeah,
having to do all that animation for all those characters.
And then we're coming into the Pokemon, like, oh, we can't animate.
Yeah, we can animate everyone.
1,000 Pokemon at the same time. It's like the ones that you do animate kind of look like shit anyway. So whatever.
And another
Pokemon more.
Another rumor I saw was, or not a rumor, but a theory, is that like, so like there's all these playable characters, just like random Mario universe characters. The theory is that you're going to be able to drive around and find these creatures in the wild, and like you can like take a picture of them and kind of like capture them, and then you can play as them. Then you can control them. So I don't know.
Pokemon Snap style.
Yeah, cool. There's got to be something hidden.
There's something more than
just like with Odyssey, just like with.
Yeah,
I feel like they do this with other games too, where the full thing hasn't been completely revealed yet. Yeah,
and then I mean they could always like, they didn't. I don't think they've shown any other Nintendo characters outside of like the Mario universe, but I full on expect to see like a Zelda course or a track or something like that. Donkey Kong. I mean, obviously Donkey Kong is part of the Mario universe. Maybe not Donkey Kong, but like Kirby, or some other Nintendo characters having like full on either maybe mini worlds or just a track that you can access at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe they do it like Zelda style. It's like there's like a whole underground area too. Like that would be insane.
I wouldn't.
Who knows? Who knows with a Nintendo? I mean.
And while we're here on Switch 2 game prices, because I know you just mentioned, $80. This is from Doug Bowser. He says, "What you see right there is variable pricing. We'll look at each game, really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the repeatability of gameplay experiences." So basically, the replay value. Those are all the factors, and there's many more that go into consideration of what is the right price point for the game. So I think you can anticipate there will be variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark, which they've set a precedent with $80.
Yeah,
because no one else has done
everybody else is going to follow
deluxe
suit
editions
very soon.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, PlayStation's going to get on that, and Xbox too.
And again, I think before we started the show, I am okay. Do I want to pay $80 for Mario Kart? Absolutely not. Do I want to pay $80? Do I want to pay $70 for a video game? No, I do not.
Do I want to pay for a video game? No.
Yeah, right. Game Pass. But like I said before, I'm okay with $80, and you're going to look at every game and determine its value. From like all the stuff you just mentioned, but utilize the lower prices too, and make it make sense. Like again, Luigi's Mansion 2 remake did not need that should have not have been 60. It should have been 30 or 40 at least. Metro Prime 4 or Metro Prime Remastered was 40. Obviously, we talked about it before, but you can't price Metro Prime Remastered at 60 and expect it to sell. It's just not going to do that. So they kind of utilize that variable pricing. Let's bring some of the other stuff down a little bit. Like if it's a remake that's maybe not a full remake and it's just more of like a remaster, like Luigi's Mansion 2, bring it down to 40 or make it $30. If you're going to increase your prices on your premium titles, lower the prices on the games that aren't as quality, like your sports games. Your sports games are absolute ass. Bring them down to like 30. and
the problem is they're content light at launch.
Yeah.
So there is no intrinsic value in jumping into the game early. It's better to wait until the content is actually there and the game goes on sale at 2% off when Nintendo runs their big holiday sale. So
launch it at 30 and then give me like a $20 season pass or whatever, whatever. Like you can make up your money elsewhere, but like if you're going to increase your prices on your games and you're going to set a precedent for $80, like give us a little bit back too and lower the price of your other normal games. That's all I'm asking.
Do you think they're going to continue to do the season passes that they implemented with a handful of games last generation, like with Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, Engage? They did it with a couple of other games. I think they did it with Breath of the Wild that had like a season pass.
I just don't think people are going to be very happy if they charge $80 and then they're going to charge a season pass price on top. Now, again,
especially
if it's 80, yeah, if it's $80, like if the next Zelda game is $80 and they give us, I'm not talking they have to give us like a 20-hour expansion, but if they give us like a season pass and they kind of trickle in some small stuff along the way, sure, I can see them doing that. But yeah, that's a tough ask to charge $80 and then on top of that, a $20, $30 season pass for some DLC. That's getting a little bit egregious. Especially with those DLCs, because those DLCs were like, some of them were like day one, right? You got like some
of the
skins or some cosmetics or something like that. So that would be crazy if they did that. But it's Nintendo, so who knows? But yeah, I think people would not be very happy with that.
Yeah, I think people would be up in arms.
So I don't see them doing that. I do see them doing a lot of these upgrade things that they've been talking about. Maybe some other games getting some DLC or something like that, which is cool if it's priced reasonably.
Real quick, I want to correct myself because last week I was under the impression that all Switch 2 enhanced editions would come with NSO. Like the Kirby
it's just Zelda.
It's just Zelda.
And which is kind of a bummer. That's kind of shitty. Like
which means that like the Kirby additional content and then the Mario Party additional content, that's going to be 20. And then we know that Zelda would be 10 unless you have NSO.
Yeah.
Then it would be free for you.
Which they did not increase the price of NSO yet. I do see that coming.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough to ask, man. Like the price of the console itself, I don't have a problem with it. I thought 400 was a sweet spot. But I can live with 450. The $80 games now, I mean that's also a tough ask. All the controllers and the accessories went up $10. Mm-hmm. You got rid of the gold points, so we can no longer earn $2 back, on our on our Switch games, and like they took that away. It's tough. It really is. Like, I don't know.
I will say, I gotta
Gaming's
hand
expensive.
it to Square Enix for pricing Bravely Default remake at $40.
I don't
Like
know.
that's like the perfect price point.
Yeah, I mean that's what it cost like on the 3DS when it first came out back in the day.
Yeah,
Like that's fair, and that's what I think most of these remakes should be. Like, you know, I'm you know with even like Skyward Sword, like that was $10 more expensive than what it was originally. It's like, and I paid for it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I did because I got to actually enjoy that game for once. But yeah, just I don't know, just be fair about the pricing going forward. Is all I'm asking.
Be variable in all directions and not just variable in the in the
And
upper
that's the thing
direction.
is like they're probably just going to be up. You know, who knows?
Yeah, but
Like,
man,
the next Zelda game could cost $100, and like that would be insane.
if I ever catch a Mario sports game at $70, that's when I'm out, dude. That's when I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're such haters of Mario sports games.
They're bad though. They are genuinely like pieces of garbage.
That was the like the one series of games on the Switch that got worse over that generation.
Yeah.
Everything else had a glow up, but all those Mario sports games
were terrible.
They were bad, man. They were bad.
And they would have been fine if they cost like $20 or $30 or $40. But 60, that's crazy. Nintendo Switch 2 for the win. Yeah, I mean the system itself is cool. I'm very excited
can't wait to play it.
The system in the games. There's just so much confusion right now going on, which leads to negativity and honestly, like just grifting in general. Like
there's a lot of
grifting, a lot of forced hate right now.
A lot of misinformation for the sake of being able to grift, and to create more confusion, which is unfortunate. People, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of the PC crowd that have their Steam Deck and ROG Ally. They're like, I don't know, dude. It's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, I can't wait to play both the Zelda games on the Switch in glorious 4K as it should have been the entire time.
That's gonna feel just so unreal to play those in that high fidelity and that high frame rate.
You have a little bit of a beef with PC Gamer, don't you?
Yeah, PC Gamer. I don't like them. It's all clickbait. Yeah,
it really is.
Haters.
Yeah, it's just great.
I'm sure they're fine, but
let's dive into the next one. So we obviously today I think we found out that the Welcome Tour, the pack-in title that Nintendo decided it was a good idea to charge for, is $10. That's $10 more expensive than it should be. It should just be free. I don't, and that's also a thing with the pricing and stuff as well. It's like, can we get something? Can you give us anything? I mean, this literally is a tour, huh?
I said if you have NSO, you can play GameCube day one.
I mean, yeah, but they're gonna raise the price before the Switch 2 comes out.
You're right.
But yeah, like this is insane to me. Like I understand that like Reggie Fils-Aimé back on the Wii had to like beg, Nintendo of Japan to say, hey, Wii Sports needs to be a pack-in. Like I don't think Wii Sports was a pack-in title in Japan, right? I think it was just everywhere else it was, or at least in the United States.
Iwata probably wanted to kill Reggie for even mentioning a pack-in title.
Yeah,
for the Wii.
But to call it the Switch 2 Welcome Tour and it's not a pack, like this is like their version of Astrobot. Like why is like I genuinely don't get it.
I was watching the Treehouse. They were demoing this game, and they got to a point where it's like, all right, it's time to take the quiz on everything you know about the Switch 2.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck am I taking the quiz? Like, why am I paying to learn? Like, why am I paying to not only learn but to be quizzed about the Switch 2? That is not my job.
That's
so weird, dude. It's so weird.
I have a feeling that they're out of all the things that they're gonna let just continue to happen, they might walk this one back and say, okay, this is going to be a pack-in.
It's
just
like
to shut people up.
It's like buying a ticket to Disneyland, and when you get there, you have to pay for a map.
Yeah, but you have to do that.
Do you really?
I don't know. I'm sure.
I bet you do. I bet it's some sort of like fun-looking Disney map. I don't know. They probably find some way to sell it.
Like, there's a $10 premium air upcharge if you breathe in our park, you have to pay $10. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like out of all the things that's gone on, this kind of pisses me off the most, and it's so stupid because it should just be a pack-in title. Like, come on, Nintendo.
And there aren't really games from like there are experiences in this piece of software, but there aren't really games to make it worth it. Like there's like, oh, guess the frame rate, and here's weird. How the rumble works. Here's how the mouse con mode works. I keep calling it mouse con. Here's how the mouse mode works. Yeah. But there's no game like it. I wouldn't say it's comparable to Astrobot because Astrobot was an actual game that you play.
I love Nintendo, but like, and I know this is how they really feel. Is there's not really like a gimmick this go around. I mean, there's the mouse controls, but like I think their gimmick is the 4K. Because like like guess like that.
Oh yeah, because they have the Mario like they show the entire first.
Such a Nintendo thing that so like. And I don't know. It's funny because I mean we've had 4K for years now with Xbox and PlayStation, so it's like Nintendo's finally caught up. But it's like when Nintendo does catch up, it almost feels new because like you're just not used to seeing their games.
They're gaslighting you into thinking it's the first time you've ever seen it.
Yeah, they really are.
It's like Apple. It's like Apple when they have a new feature on the iPhone.
Yeah, and that's how I think that's how they genuinely feel is like when they do it. It's their way or the highway, right? Even now like the chat feature, it's like we've had chat for 20 years in gaming since like the 360 days, and we're finally getting on Nintendo. And granted, it's a different and it's a neat way to do chat, but it's also kind of weird because it's like, okay, you've never given us voice chat before, outside of using the app on the phone, and now you're giving us full video. Like, did we not learn? Did we not learn the Uno days of the 360? I saw some despicable shit. I saw a grown man, Nick, take a CD and swipe it between his butt cheeks. I saw some diabolical stuff.
You were a minor.
Chat. I was very much a minor.
I mean, that's incriminating.
And I'm sure that Nintendo's going to have some sort of like.
Well, you can't do it with strangers. You can't go into a random Mario Party game and suddenly you're talking to some sweaty old 60-year-old man from another state. Like it has to be someone that you're friends with on the Switch 2 system. So it's I'm sure there are safeguards in place, and even if you could, like those videos are running at like 5 frames a second.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. They knew it was bad and they didn't even like bother cleaning up the resolution.
Like, this is it. This is what it looks like.
And that's fine. It doesn't need to be anything great.
Yeah.
So we learned there's still some confusion, I guess, about like the upgrade packs. Then I don't think Nintendo's actually came out and said prices yet, but we can kind of assume what those prices are going to be. So we know Zelda is free with NSO if you subscribe, but that's the only ones. So there's the free ones for like Echoes of Wisdom and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and a bunch of other games that are getting like the free updates.
There's like small
updates. Very very minimal updates. And then you have the kind of the larger ones with Zelda. We're getting those for free, but Kirby, Mario, Jamboree, those are not included in NSO. And going by the prices that they are for the Switch 2, it's $20 for the upgrade. Is that what we are understanding?
Yeah. And we've confirmed that the Zelda upgrades, if you don't have NSO, they are $10.
Okay.
And then based off of the price differential between the base version and the Switch 2 version for Kirby and Mario Party, like you can tell, like it's going to be a $20 upgrade.
Yeah. And then also to confirm, because there's been a lot of misinformation about this, And again, shout out to Nintendo Prime for doing the research and sending one email. And the other journalist couldn't even do this. He did confirm that like the upgrade, the Switch 2 versions of like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby, the game and the upgrade are on the cartridge.
They're included on the cartridge. You don't have to download anything. There's not a download code. It's a Switch 2 cartridge. Like it has everything that you need.
It's the Switch 2 version. Yeah.
It's the Switch 2
now there
version.
are because there was a lot of like developers and publishers that were selling technically a physical version of a Switch game, but it would not, there would be no cartridge. It would just be like a download code.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually kind of a pro consumer move that Nintendo's doing for us, because if if the publisher does not want to pay for the 64 gigabyte cart or whatever it is, or the higher capacity cart, they can give you, they still have to include a game cart that you have to put into your Switch 2. Then you download the game onto your Switch 2, but you must have the cartridge in the Switch 2 to play that game. But what's better about this versus that download code, because that download code for the Switch 1 games was a one-time use. This one, you still have to have the licensing with the cartridge to download it, but you can give it to somebody or you can resell it to somebody, and then it follows the cartridge and not your Switch. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool move by Nintendo that's forcing the publishers or developers, whatever, to make it easier, I guess, to resell and stuff like that. So that is very cool. We'll give them props for that.
Yeah, and it seems like third party wise, it's been a mixed bag. Like Bravely Default and Street Fighter 6, those use the key card versions, and
the key card. Yep.
Cyberpunk 2077, which granted has Phantom Liberty included. They're all going to be on the cart. No need to download anything in addition.
That's very cool.
And they opted for the 64 gigabyte card. So I mean, they did a similar thing with Witcher 3. They included it all on the cart, which is really cool. So they're committed, and I definitely respect that. And they have cross progression too for Cyberpunk, which is
okay. I didn't know that. That's
pretty
cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I mean, it gives developers options, and then makes it pro friendly, pro consumerism for ones that want to buy the game and maybe want to resell it or something at a different time. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So So what else? There's the new game sharing feature. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's where like you can share one game up to 3 other people that locally. So like if, I guess one person theoretically owns Mario Kart World, you can play with your friends, and I think it has to be multiplayer only, right? You can't just all play a single player game. It has to be multiplayer. Is that my understanding of it?
I think so. And can you cast to like a Switch 1?
That I don't think you can.
Okay. So it's only on Switch 2.
I believe if it's a Switch 2 game, you can only do Switch 2. But I think if a Switch 2 is running a Switch 1 game, you can do that. Maybe. See, it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, a lot of confusion.
So hopefully they clarify that stuff. But that's still kind of cool. If someone, if they don't have Mario Kart or they want to try it out first before buying it, that's kind of a way to let your friends do that. Granted, you have to play locally, so you can't do it online.
Yeah.
So we talked about the cartridge confusion.
Oh yeah. Have you seen any of the pictures of game cases?
They don't look like ass, and I actually kind of want one now.
They don't look bad. Yeah, I saw the actual ones.
Well, because they do instead of like the red spine for the Switch 1 games, they actually wrap around the art, so it looks really nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it doesn't look. I don't know, man. Like it just.
Like looking at the Switch
I think that
1,
big download code on the bottom just like threw me off. Yeah.
Yeah. Like imagine just like this art just wrapping around.
Yeah, super cool.
the spine. I mean, that's a really cool idea. The Switch 2 area up top isn't as wide as I thought it was, or as wide as it looked in the initial rendering. So it looks a lot better. This is making me want to go physical more. This and the, you know, the key card stuff, like it's all making me want to go physical more than I was a week ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just, I mean, this is the thing. Like, you see things, you have a gut reaction, and then people run with news. They run with, initial pictures or initial
they don't do
bad
research.
information. And then,
which again, this all falls back on Nintendo.
Yeah,
they could have easily cleared up the air, or I don't know what render they were using. If it was an old one or something, like I don't know. But yeah, it just looks way better in person. The photos that we saw from the event last week, but
by the time the actual information's out, and this doesn't necessarily apply to the cartridge or to the game case stuff, but by the time the truth comes out, the damage has already been done, and it's too late.
Yeah, I'll be. I mean, we'll never know, obviously, but I would be very curious how all this stuff like impacts the general public on their thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you could already see like all over how stupid Facebook is, but you have someone post, "Oh, Mario Kart's $80, Nintendo's lost their mind," and everybody's commenting, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm never buying the Switch 2," and blah blah blah.
I mean, last week I posted a TikTok just like stating like the prices of the games, and someone said, "Oh, the games are going to be $90." I said, "No, you've heard misinformation. The games are not going to be $90. You were seeing another currency." And I was like, "What's your source?" And they said, "The whole World Wide Web." And then they gave me a source, and the source was literally pointing to like
the UK
prices in euro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that doesn't apply to the US at all. Like you have to check your sources a little bit. Like it's not one for one. So people are very confused, and they're running with bad info, which is a little frustrating.
I'm over on our Twitter page right now, and I watched this live earlier. The Gary Whitta going off about Nintendo on Kind of Funny, and then at the end of his rant, he's like, "I'm still gonna buy the damn thing."
Yeah, it's like, dude, you gotta stick to your guns a little bit more.
That's what they're saying. They're like, "What are you doing, Gary? Like, come on." But I mean that's how we are too, man. Like we'll sit here and bitch and moan about the price, but it's Nintendo, and we love them, and their games are good, but
most of them, yeah,
it's tough. It's really tough. So we talked about Cyberpunk being on there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into. You want to dive into like some games? I mean, because we haven't had an official show since it aired, but we're getting Elden Ring. That's coming. Is that one day one for the Switch too?
No, it's just 2025.
Just 2025. Okay.
Yeah, that one's not.
Do we know if that includes Shadow on there as well?
I think it does.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't make sense if it didn't.
Was Shadow the Erdtree on Xbox One and PS4, or was it just current gen?
I think it was on Xbox One. Yeah, because I mean, if it was on the original Xbox One, there should be no reason why it would. Yeah, I bet it's going to be on there. I bet it's going to be like $80, right? $80 or $70 with Shadow the Erdtree.
Yeah, I actually don't know if it comes with it. I might be mixing it up with Cyberpunk,
maybe.
But
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't sell it with it. I mean, that wouldn't make a lot of sense to have. But I don't know.
I think I would only pick Elden Ring up if it runs at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for me to play a worse version of Elden Ring when I've already played through it 4 or 5 times and put so many hours into the DLC as well. Like, yeah, it's a cool novelty to have on a handheld device,
but it's a $70,
But if it's $70 and it's 30 frames, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would be worth it, but we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
it's cool that it's there in the first place.
It's very
you want the physical, but I think it has like the key card. It's not the full game on cartridge.
It's really I'm glad it's there. I mean, that's one of our predictions we did. It was all but confirmed pretty much. I mean, we knew it was coming.
And it does include Shadow of the Erdtree.
It does. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it would make sense if they didn't put it on there.
Yep.
I mean, elephant in the room, man. Dust Bloods.
Yes.
That now caveat: it is a multiplayer focused game, PvP, PvE kind of game, but it sounds very interesting. FromSoft did confirm that this is not their priority going forward. You know, we will be having 2 kind of back-to-back multiplayer focused things. So that
Miyazaki was like, I want to clear the air first. This isn't what we're
well,
doing.
I was a little bit concerned. I was like, because I mean, the trailer looks like. I mean, I was like, is this Bloodborne 2? I mean, did they do the damn thing?
Everyone's reaction. It was like, yeah, this looks
And it
exactly
does. It looks like Bloodborne 2. Definitely has that aesthetic. It looks incredible. But yeah, I was like, once I learned, I think once you texted me that information, I was like, I'm not as excited for it.
right.
But I mean, it's FromSoft. Like, I'll be more excited for this once we get our hands on Night Rain, and hopefully that runs and plays great. And then I'll be like, okay, they know how to do the multiplayer thing. Let's see what they do with like an actual like full on game for the Switch 2. That'd be really cool.
And it sounds like it has some really cool ideas. It's not only going to be PvP. It sounds like you and other people are also going to be working together occasionally to take down bosses. And there's, personal traits that your character has, and they're like more than 10 characters to choose from, and each one you can kind of customize and apparently just do a lot of cool stuff with on the exploration and freedom side. So I think it looks cool. I mean, hopefully it works well. Hopefully there's a lot of variety in gameplay, and it still has that From Software touch. And this one's being directed by Miyazaki, so it's
I mean, it looks incredible. Like that trailer, they just know how to do a trailer, man. They just know how to do it.
Yeah, like, they nail first trailers.
Yeah, they really do. So that's super exciting. Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of like what else was shown. I mean, we obviously learned about, they ended with Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game looks. I can't wait, dude. I booted up NSO last night. I thought Donkey Kong 64 was on there, but it's not. So I was like, man, I think
people just talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I was like, let me try this out because, like, I know it's like, I don't know how well regarded it is, but I was like, man, like, let me just try out this 3D, the 3D Donkey Kong just to kind of get an idea of what to expect. But yeah, it's not on there. But yeah, Bonanza looks crazy, man. That it looks the
amount of freedom in this game, like just being able to just like
literally destroy
entire environments. Yeah,
I mean, it's like Red Faction Gorilla meets 3D, Donkey Kong. It's insane.
Meets Mario. Yeah.
And it very much is Mario Odyssey's version of Donkey Kong for sure.
Yeah.
Or Donkey Kong's version of Mario Odyssey. Because they even they have all the hidden little bananas everywhere that every time you get one,
triggers a cutscene and
triggers a little cutscene, a little text about it. So very, very much Odyssey-esque, but hey, it looks awesome. It's different. It's a lot different than Mario. So
sounds like it has a pretty complex control system too, and movement system.
You can punch up, punch down, punch horizontally,
forward.
Yeah,
you could run up walls. I'm sure there are going to be so many OCD people that have to destroy an entire level before moving on. Yeah. And that's something you can just do, and then you can reset the level if you want to. But
there's something cool when you click on the stick, I think, and it pulls you out, and you can see you can see the whole map.
It's almost like a diorama.
Yeah, super cool.
This really reminds me of something like Tears of the Kingdom, where there's just it seems like there's going to be a lot of freedom in how you can handle a specific area or specific levels. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how open this game is, how big the levels are. I know we got to look at the very first level, but yeah, I wonder how far it goes and how long this game is. I wonder if it's like a 10-hour game or if it pushes 20 or 30.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wonder.
Yeah, and this is why I love Nintendo is they're so about gameplay first, obviously, compared to other developers. And I don't know, with Mario Odyssey and Zelda now and now Donkey Kong, like they're really pushing kind of their ideas with these games that we've really never seen before. At least not with Nintendo. So it's cool.
Yeah, pushing like how you interact with the environment rather than pushing graphics.
Yeah.
And performance.
Yeah, I'll take gameplay. Yeah. Give me good gameplay and good performance over anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this seems like a really special game. I'm glad it's coming out so soon. It's only like a month and a half after the Switch 2 launches, so it's right around the corner. It's only 3 months away.
So do you think, they have Pokemon? Obviously, we don't know the date for that, and Metro Prime. I think we'll probably get a direct at some point, and they'll announce like the release date for that. But that's not going to be their big holiday game.
No.
Well, we thinking Mario? Do you think Mario comes out this year?
Man, I don't think so. I think what they've announced is what we're going to get for this year.
You think so? You don't think there's going to be anything else?
I mean, between Pokemon, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors 3, and Metroid Prime 4.
That one too.
Yeah. I mean, that's 4 big-ish games coming out.
I'm pretty excited for Hyrule. That looks really good. I mean, I'm excited to get that story.
That looks really cool. I'm glad it's confirmed to be canon, unlike Age of Calamity, which I hope gets a free upgrade because that needs to run at 60. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Age of Calamity was like, it was kind of multiverses, right? Like not multiverses, like a multiverse kind of game. Like I don't know, it was kind of weird.
It didn't align with like what actually happened, I guess. It was a different universe. I don't know. Yeah, but this one's canon, which is really cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah,
Prison War, very cool.
I'm always down for a Muso game, like every 4 to 5 years. Actually 3 to 4 years. I played both Fire Emblem Warrior games, played both Zelda Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, I have too. I played I didn't play Fire Emblem, but I played the Zelda Hyrule Warriors, like the first one. I think I played it on the 3DS. I skipped the.
You played it on the 3DS?
Maybe, I think so. Or maybe it was the Wii U.
Because it was new 3DS exclusive. And then it was it came out on Wii U, and then they released it on the new Nintendo 3DS, and then it came out on the Switch as the definitive edition.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't think I have my 3DS games down here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played it on 3DS.
God,
could be wrong though.
Man. You should like go back and play that on the Switch or something.
Maybe I should.
It was fun.
Maybe because I know I didn't buy it on the Wii U. Maybe I did. I can't remember. I played it somewhere.
Came out after you got the Wii U, right? Or was it before? Because you got it when Splatoon came out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I may have picked it up like on sale, if it was like digitally or something like that. I'll double check. But
yeah,
either way, I know I played it. So yeah, that looks really cool. I mean, you might be right, but
you think there's one more secret?
I think there's going to be and it's Mario's anniversary this year too. Like we got to get something Mario.
Mario Kart, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but like the big Mario game. I think we'll get. We're probably going to get another direct at some point. Maybe not June because that's when the console is coming out, but September direct.
I don't know. I still think it'll be like Metroid Prime 4 in October.
I think we have enough. Like I'm good. Like I'm good, especially then we consider whatever PlayStation's got and then Xbox. So I'm good. But
I also wouldn't be surprised if. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually holding back Mario, in anticipation of something like GTA 6 coming out.
Yeah.
Not that there's a big overlap, but I feel like they'd be more willing to send another game out to fight against GTA 6 than they would one of their flagship titles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else you're excited for on day one, or yeah, are you picking up any third-party games day one?
I don't know. Like I'm good on Cyberpunk. I'm good. Like, you know, what else is there third party wise?
Street Fighter 6.
I'm good on that.
Civ 7.
Good on that too.
I had a list. Wait, I have a list of the launch lineup. Okay, Bravely Default. I might pick that one up.
I might actually pick that up too. I love that game.
Yeah,
and it'd be something cheaper that I can I can get for the Switch too.
Deltarune chapters.
I'll probably. Oh, you Deltarune. I never played those.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick up the Kirby expansion to see what that looks like. Hopefully it's a a decent size kind of expansion.
That one's in August, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, the other day one ones are Fast Fusion, Fortnite, Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess, Hitman, Hogwarts Legacy, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Street Fighter 6, Split Fiction, and then Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'll probably just. I think if anything, I would just get Bravely Default.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Mario Kart and Bravely Default,
and then play some Wind Waker.
Yeah,
on GameCube.
Even though it's not, it's not the Wii U version, it still looks good, man. Like it looks pretty.
Looks good in its own right.
It's a timeless game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick before we jump away from Nintendo, things we didn't see. We didn't see, obviously, Twilight Princess wasn't in the GameCube presentation, which I assume we're going to get at some other point, but maybe they're doing a remake for that, a proper one.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Metro Prime 2 also wasn't shown off as.
Yeah, 2 and 3 weren't there. We didn't get a release date for Metro Prime 4, although we did get a look at it. It looked way better than it did the previous week. Obviously, the Switch 2 edition looks really cool. I expected to see Halo here, but we didn't, obviously. But
I think at this point, I think we're going to see Oblivion this month. We'll see Gears over the summer, like a Gears collection, and then Halo maybe later in the year.
Yeah,
I don't know. I do think Oblivion is going to come to Switch 2, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why not? And then probably another Skyrim edition with mouse support for $80.
Let's get away from Nintendo. Let's jump over to South of Midnight came out. Not came out, but the reviews came out. What is it sitting at right now? It's
sitting at a 78.
So not bad. I mean, I think from what I've heard, the story is everything but the combat is good.
Kind of hate that for this game, but I'll try it. I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass.
And it's only like a 10-hour experience, so it could be a good kind of like palate cleanser game from all these massive RPGs I've been playing here recently.
I know, between Metaphor and Xenoblade, it's been and even Avowed.
Yeah, Avowed, Kingdom Come.
RPGs.
I mean, it's just been crazy amount of RPGs.
Yeah. I need a palate cleanser.
So that might be good. And it's on Game Pass too. Have you been watching the videos for Blueprint? Like apparently this game is like Game of the Year material, and that comes out this week too.
I know. I watched like a part of a review. I know it's a puzzle game. It's like a roguelike puzzle game. I don't know. It's some sort of roguelike, but I'll check it out. I think it's on PS Plus, so maybe this is
it's on Game Pass too.
Good time for me to resubscribe.
Yeah. Oh, it is. But if the Portal, I mean,
never mind. Yeah. Yeah, I might check this out.
It looks interesting. But yeah, South of Midnight. Obviously we wanted to be higher, but I mean, it is what it is.
Xbox still has some really good games coming. They have
Clair Obscur this month.
Doom coming next month. Yeah, Clair Obscur coming later this month. And then Doom?
Doom comes out in May 15th. So yeah, so a lot of good. And then obviously, I mean, it's been rumored that Oblivion's going to get Shadow Drop too. So I mean, we could be playing that at any point. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And then Nick, you want to read this last one about Marathon?
Yeah. So I think people have I think press have already played this game, but there's going to be a full reveal next weekend or this coming weekend.
Yeah, I think this coming Saturday, like
something. Yeah. Yeah, and people are speculating that there's going to be like an open beta as well for PlayStation and Xbox. So we'll see. I mean, it's still an extraction shooter. It's either 1 player or 3 player. Seems like everyone hates 2-player modes for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I'll try it if it's an open beta. I mean, I'm not much into extraction shooters, but part of me wants to try this game just to give it a fair shot. Since I'd hate for it to.
If this comes out and it sucks. I mean, we've already talked about like Jim Ryan and just being a generational idiot and a failure for greenlighting all these games. But yeah, if this one comes out and it fails and it's not and no one plays it, that's the last time we'll see PlayStation do any stuff like this.
Yeah. The best thing Jim Ryan did was find 5 million additional PS2 sales.
In a Toys R Us somewhere in the world. Jim
Ryan. I'm sure he did a lot of good stuff, but he did not leave a good legacy behind with his recent initiative of the 12 online games.
Yeah, it was
chasing a trend.
Yeah, it was a tragedy. It was very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the same mindset as you. I'm not extremely excited for this. I really haven't been a Bungie fan since they left Halo. Like I could give 2 shits about Destiny. I thought the gameplay was fun, but I
didn't like the grind.
I'm just not a live service person. I'm really not.
I'm just not drawn into the allure of
the dailies and the weeklies and
dailies.
All that.
I just don't care.
Yeah, because if you miss like 1 week, then it's like, okay, I missed something, and then whatever. Yeah. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not very excited at all. But like you said, I'll try it. Hopefully, it's good. We'll see.
Hopefully.
All right, Nick. Well, that was a lot of information that we had to get through, but we had to do it for the people. We
cleared up some loose ends.
Hopefully so. We'll see. But yeah, but again, shout out to Nintendo Prime for doing the due diligence earlier. I know we do poke fun a lot at Nintendo YouTubers just because they're so ridiculous and they seemingly do kind of pull out information out of the air and news stories. But
they're eating good right now though.
Yeah. Eating super, super good. So yeah, that was definitely awesome. Clear the air. And and I don't know what's going on with journalism right now. Like I understand we talked about it earlier, grifting and
just being
got to get those clicks, but man, let's do a little bit of research because it's only gonna hurt you in the long run.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. Well, that is going to it's going to wrap up this episode. It was a good one. We appreciate everyone watching live, listening to the podcast. If you could review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be greatly appreciated. You could always message the show if you have any questions. That's in the show notes below, and we'll be back next week with probably talking a little bit about Marathon, depending on how that looks, and whatever else happens in this crazy video game landscape right now.
Maybe some South of Midnight, maybe some more misinformation about Switch 2. Who knows?
Yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, fun stuff.
We'll see what happens. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.